So yeah, this is a preview of what was done. We just met on Thursday. We had a 3-day weekend. This is our first time getting back together. You guys were given some tasks to kind of go off and explore and build some things out for demo today, just to make sure we're in alignment. So that's what we want to do today. Everything that's here is real and running on a branch. But we have basically 3 teams. We have the platform, the website, and the content. I have actually, with the Claude design, I've actually restructured this. This is stale, but it's basically platform stays the same. Website and content kind of get merged together into marketing. And then it just makes more sense after I start creating the landing pages. And then we have an additional team for staff, like the staff type of stuff. And it's still the same 3 people, but that's how the content's broken up. And I'll break that up into 3 separate projects off of our platform and website, right? So everything's cohesive, it'll all work together, but that's the way to break it up, like logically. And because that's where, and then Jason, with our wireframes, you'll be able to show you at a high level, like what these look like. You could give feedback, and we could make changes to the wireframes, and then just have agents follow those wireframes for the most part. And that workflow is something that's given to us by Anthropic, so it should work relatively well out of the box if we follow that workflow. But this will get us out of the way from looking like Claude websites too, because we could come in and tweak our own design system. So, which just makes the site look different than just the generic created Claude stuff. But we'll start off with Brian and Emilio doing their demo of kind of what they built.
Yeah. Is there any way we can start by the front end design? We are almost
We're
finished.
we're finishing up the bug that I was talking to you about. It should be done
You
in
guys need
like
a couple more
5
minutes. Let me
minutes.
let me share this
Yeah.
design system. I'll just share this with everyone real quick because I think, Jason, it's good for you just to see this, and I'll share this probably at 2 o'clock again. But they could see it too while we're waiting for them to build.
Ritu wants to meet at 2 today.
Yeah, 2 today.
She didn't message me. Okay, sounds good.
All right.
I'll have to jump off at 2:30.
Yeah,
But
that's right. You said that.
figure it out. Sounds good. Okay.
Okay. So let me get back to where I was at here. Let me find this design system. All right. And I gotta turn off my presentation because it's showing that. All right, you can see my Claude design thing here, right? So this is in our Waifinder team, and basically what this is like it really breaks things down to an atomic level, and this is pretty standard for when you're building like a website or a platform, Jason. So basically, this is like I'll get down to the words visual, but this is a breakdown of what we have built in the project currently, and this is how it writes. And what's cool about this design system, you come into this design system and you could change these things here and then apply it to the whole site. So you have brand, we start off here, and this is like what we have for the statuses. We can update how these are so they look better, right? These are just Claude based things. So we can update these. These are all components inside our project. Here's our logo. And then like the accent colors, which breaking up like this and componentizing is like, no, I want to use these spread of this palette instead, and we can just apply that and it'll apply across the whole site. So we're really just making it better. And these are the different styles for like the different uses across the page or the pages. And then you got the dark and client themes. So we have these different themes. Brand again, and then these are all the buttons that are in use on the page currently. So you could come through and you could edit these buttons and how they look. And then so like if you don't like this like look right here and you got some feedback how you want it to look different, or you just don't like this and wants to come up with something else, we could easily go and iterate and create like different ways of how this is developed, and then just plug it in through the design system and change it here in the design system so it flows to the pages, rather than someone going and working on a page and developing it there. This is really more production quality stuff. So then you got, how cards look, so when they're focused either they float and resting, and then just all the different setups that are using our project already. So basically, here's our display and headings, different kind of like the spacing we use, and then the roadmaps. Like it shows, here's the client roadmap and how it's shown, and the current setup. But even though this isn't like 100% how you want it right now, it still looks very Claude. Getting it broken down like this and then iterating will make things a lot faster. And you can add notes here and come in and edit this. And this is shared across the team. So now I just shared the link in Discord, but anyone that's a part of the Claude team can click on that and reference this and build a project. The next step here, I'm waiting for my limit because this is a standard usage here. I don't want to bump mine up here because I already have the max plan, but it's not part of this team. But once I hit my limit resets, I'm going to create 3 projects, and basically those 3 projects, I can show you here. I'm working through this with it, but this will be the marketing, and it will be Fatima, Nestor, Juan, and Enrique. It's just showing who's done work because Nestor didn't do any pushes, so it's showing there. On the client portal will be Brian and Emilio, and then the staff portal, which there's like these are very tightly coupled. So, but there is some distinctions where like workflows and how things are presented will probably be different. So that's part of Brian and Emilio's work, but I've done some stuff there too from the prototype, so it threw me in there as well. But then what we'll do is for each project in Cloud Design, we'll import this and then make a project for each of these things. And then when we come back to this, when we're in the design, when we're in here, I could just go like so, and we could go to wireframe, for instance. This is just and I actually have a prompt I've created. I could pop in for each project, and it will actually recreate our pages as they are right now into a project. And then we'll have 3 separate projects reflected here, and you guys will work on those. And then Jason, when I'm sharing with you, I could just come through here, show you the wireframe. You could give me feedback and I could just put notes directly on the wireframe, and then they could the devs could take that and run with it, and we could do a really fast, turnaround and changes on stuff that to make sure things stay on point. And this wireframe will show when I get done with the wireframe project, everything should show end to end, like a client coming in through to the end of like making a cell and building for them, and then closing that project, finishing it. So, and then we could easily with this it's nice because I could just we could generate slides to show it real quick, and this will just make it really fast to iterate and show changes. Like today's changes, I can make slides for to show in the morning, for instance. It'll go really fast. But yeah, that's a design. I'm gonna get this set up by the end of the day today. After we meet, I'll work on it. But Brian and Emilio, have you done building yet?
Hey, Gary, would I have an account in Claude Design? Like, is this something? I mean, I don't know if you want me messing with any of it, but
so you could get an account. It would make it so I could just share links and you could join it. Right, you just have to join the team. It would cost an additional $20 a month for a standard seat. Or I could just demo it to you. It'd probably really be convenient if you had the extra seat. It's only $20, but
yeah. Can you? Well, all I care about is the billings in the same spot. Can whatever you bought the other stuff with? Can you just add it?
yeah, I did. Yeah, I could just invite you to the team and you'd be put on there and it'd be built to the same card that Ritu gave me.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep. Yeah, I'll do that here shortly. I could, yeah. Yeah, and I think we'll all be in the same space to share and iterate, and that's what this is designed for. So it's really cool.
Do you have information to get on? And sorry, I'm way simpler than you have the information to get on the Waifinder site and make changes.
To get on the Wayfinder site, so you want to be kind of like user acceptance testing, where you go on the site, look at things, and then request changes to how it looks?
I don't know. All I'm saying is if we do all of this, can you get it on the Wayfinder site? Do you know how to do you have the information to do that?
Oh, on the Squarespace site?
Because there's a conversation about Squarespace, if it was the right thing, and so obviously doing all of this needs to go on Wayfinder, right?
Yes,
So, like,
yeah. So it's in our project.
do you know how
so
to do you need any? Do you know how to do all of that?
I don't have. Yes, I do, but Jessica has the access to the Squarespace, but we're not going to use Squarespace. We're recreating it, and we'll host it like in our own VM, and I know how to do all that. Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Just tell me what you
Yeah.
need when you need it.
Yep. I just need And the Wayfinder.com domain I think is owned by Jessica manages that through Squarespace, right?
I think it was Ritu. Did they buy it through GoDaddy? Who bought it? You got because
Oh, I have it. I have it. I think I have it.
Okay.
There's a couple of different spots, so I just lose track. But yeah, I think
the initial purchase was done through the law, I believe, and then Jessica had to end up throwing it on our credit card or something. But who actually did it? I think I think Jessica paid for it, but it was done through them. But obviously, I don't want that owned by Computing for All.
Right.
It needs to be owned by the Wayfinder, so we need to figure out how we transfer that or whatever we need to do.
Hold on a second. I'm just confirming real quick while we're chatting that I do have it. Sorry if it's wasting time. 1 6
Yeah, no worries, but I just wanted to get ahead of that because we want.
Yeah, I want to too.
The sooner we can have something on the website that talks about what we do at the better for. I'm having a lot of revenue conversations right now, and I'm champing at the bit here to get stuff that I can show people.
So what's confusing to me is yes, I own Wayfinder site, but then that's right, I updated the DNS on this basically so it points to Squarespace instead. But I own the original site, so yeah, I own this. So if we just drop,
you should be in a good spot to do whatever the hell you need to do.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have.
That's all I care about.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I don't care about how the cookie.
Yeah. I have access. I own the domain. I own the domain.
Yeah.
I don't own Squarespace. So yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Yeah, we're ready to demo now.
Okay, cool. You guys go ahead and share your screen, then I'll watch so it's recorded as well.
Yeah, let me share my screen. Okay, so I'll run this, and so this is just the blueprints we were talking about, the change requests that we talked about. So what the client will see, he'll start with a business name, and he'll say like, okay, this is my industry, and this is the problem I have, right? The current tools that they're using. This is just for us to actually use LLMs. It's already in, so this won't be included. But once they finish out their form, they'll submit their problem, right? And the AI will draft a blueprint. Then we can enter as an engineer, and we see that they drafted a problem, and it'll propose 3 different angles to approach that problem. For example, this one will be an AI receptionist that answers and books around the clock, the most coverage and mid-cost, with their problem being after hours, missed emergency calls, slip through to voicemail and go cold by morning. Each missed job is around 500 to 1200 in lost work. And then we have another solution, which could be like a callback list, just basically have overnight voicemails and texts that are auto-triaging to a prioritized morning callback list. So once they see it in the morning, they can call back. Or we can use another proposed solution, which would be just an online booking and instant estimate so routine jobs never need a phone call. We can also mark any of these recommended for the client, and we can publish the blueprint version to the client. So once we publish it, the client will see these 3, the ones we talked about it. So let's say he chose this one. He'll choose it, and then we'll see the card. So this is the problem we heard. It'll go to the next card. What we'll build, 24/7 AI answering, qualify the job, and book or text back instantly. This is the predicted. Since we didn't want to include costs, we just made a predicted savings. This is just a really rough estimate. We can later on add like line views or something like that to get an actual grounded estimate. And this is what it'll cost for them to run this monthly. So let's say the client doesn't like that we need to qualify the job. So the client would say, okay, delete, qualify the job, right? because they don't like that, and then they'll send the change request.
Or whatever language they want,
Then
right? Like whatever
yeah,
language. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So then over here we can see that the client asked for to delete the qualify the job. So right here, as the engineer, we say, okay, you don't like that, then we'll delete it, and then we can apply it. So now the client sees that that he has to delete the qualify the job, and we delete it, so it's applied.
Also, some interesting fact about here is that we cannot apply the change if we haven't edit anything on the card, right? It will be because we were having that bug, right? So the backend was letting us apply an a change when a change wasn't applied, right? So we did fix that. Now we do need to edit a field on the card that was requested a change, and then we are able to apply that change.
Yeah.
All right.
So now, if they go over, okay, they'll see like, okay, this would be my run cost. So the AI usage would be around $45 to $65 a month. The phone would be 25, and the hosting for the website would be like 12 to 18. This is an estimate, not a quote. Then they'll see, okay, I like this, and then this is what we'll see, right? Every lead logged, and then the price around what they'll save. So next, let's say again they don't like I don't know, they don't like that every lead is logged, so we want to put like every most only important leads get logged, right? We can submit this change, and again we can go back over here, and we see that they want the only important leads to get logged, so we'll change this to only important leads
And
get
that's an
logged.
example. We can, as you can see, we can also change the prices.
I see
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So once we apply, they'll see that the only important leads get logged. They say, okay, we're good with this, and we're good with paying whatever we need to pay once the contract is done. Then they can approve and unlock, and this would show the actual page that we showed on the prototypes. So this is basically only the first part that we talked about of reviewing and creating a blueprint for the client to get them hooked and to actually get them interested in paying for the project.
I want to change the word blueprint to requirements, is because you have like business requirements. You know, so I think that's a more formal way of saying it. Like, it doesn't matter at all. But Jason, what do you think of this so far? I think of this in two ways. I just want to pause you guys for a second. One's the process. So there's this iterative process to make sure we're fixing the right problem. One, we have the AI look and recommend the problem, and then there's this iterative point where we could get some back and forth, and then give them the estimates. Now, I know you said, Jason, that you wanted to think about that a little bit of how we present that. Do we want to gatekeep it behind like a sales rep before we just show them that information in the spot, which is doable. But really, that's the two things I'm thinking about. Is one is the process, and then two is the look. And that design system will help a lot because we could have this process in play, but maybe you don't like the way this looks, but the process is sound. We could iterate on those two things separately, right? So lock in process, then lock in the look and feel.
Yeah, I think it's good. I've got a couple things that so the problem that they put in, it seemed too simplified. Like, I think there's more steps to a lot of this stuff. Like, and I don't mean that. Sorry, I'm being too literal. When you went to the next part and it showed like how we're going to solve the problem, and there was like 3 things, and you were taking it out. It was just like, only focus on main leads or something. There's so much information that goes to quantifying what a main lead is. Like, it's not as simple as just putting a high level sentence. So I feel like there's got to be more detail to the process, which maybe that's assumed in what you're doing, but I just want to make sure That's kind of where that's where things get lost is. And so then I don't know, without you knowing details, how in the world are we coming up with what their
Hey, so I have a question.
continued cost going to be?
I have a question because we're all inexperienced in sales, right? And you have all that experience. I was wondering if you have like could point us towards like any kind of as a sales rep, do you have like any kind of material, or do you know of any material you could point us to, like so we could look at it for information, like how to lay this out, like in detail, like problem, like really dial it on a problem, like there's a methodology. I know you showed that Challenger stuff with me. Is there anything else you think of that we could point us to where we could actually?
Well, there's kind of two different things. So the sales process is one thing, but this isn't necessarily. This is part of the sales process, but this is kind of the next thing where we're actually creating a statement of work for the services business, I think, if I'm understanding this. Because this isn't predicting sales process yet, right? This is someone that we already know has a problem, and I identified. And you're right, we probably need the whole scope. You need to probably see that. But where we're starting here is identified problems. So now we're talking about crafting a solution. So this is more on the services platform. So inside of that, yes, that's a different. It's not necessarily like that's what you need a little bit of your guys's, because you guys are the ones that would actually know how to solve these things. Like when we're dissecting a client's problem, it's pretty like their problems are going to be pretty they're going to be pretty complicated and pretty niche. That's why they need custom consulting. And so it's going to be more like they're going to tell us like a very specific process, and in that there's going to be a bunch of requirements, and we're going to need to document those requirements. Everything. I think about in coding, like everything needs to be if-then statements, right? But anyways, I say all that. It's not going to. I just want to make sure that we can be. You're spot on that we want to be high level about the problem. My concern is then if we give them a price, maintain it without knowing all the requirements, that's probably not right. We probably have to wait on that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because we need the high level requirement. You're spot on. High level requirements, keep it high level, have it where they can go back. Then from that high level, then we probably have to have intervention of a human or a more detailed conversation. If that can happen with an agent, that's great. Like then there would be a more detailed conversation about those high level problems. Then that detail should be shown at both the the developers, humans, and the humans on their side can see the details of the workflow, not necessarily how we're solving it, but like our understanding of it. And once that's agreed, it should automatically go into a statement of work. And I'll start working with our lawyers right now to put a statement of work together. But what we want to do is take those requirements. I need to write this all down for you, but I think you're following me. We would take those requirements that was built out in detail. It would just then map to the statement of work, which we would agree is evolving. But we would have an agreement on that statement of work for a price. And I would hope in this platform, our general terms and everything would just auto-populate a contract.
Yeah, so for me, for two things I wanted to add. So first, right now this is just like something that's pre-done. We have the ability to hook up right here the like a key to actually have an LLM go through this and create an actual well-laid plan. So instead of just being, let me draft it again. So instead of it just being like this high level, once they choose this, what the AI will see will be like, okay, so this is what we want, and then over here on the review, and what you'll see, it'll be you want like something of like what like a technical deep down on what we'll build for them, so we can both agree on what they want and what we'll build, or
I think so. We need to, and if that can start with I think there's going to be I think they can start doing it with an LLM if we can. I mean, I don't know how costly that is for us, or that's when we would have human meet with them but I mean, if you could start it with an LLM, that's even better. And then the human, but we also don't want it to be like calling into a customer service line where they keep getting bad information and it just frustrates them. Right?
So, okay, so would it be like before the cards that I showed you, like for example on these different things, instead of just being like an AI receptionist answers and books around the clock, the most coverage, mid cost, it would be like an actual deep down on like, so we'll build this, and you probably need this, and then get feedback from the customer if we got it correctly, or like an LLM
Yeah, I think it
iterate
would
through the.
be like, it's almost like quick ideas, and then like would almost ask the question, does this help? Does this solve it for you? Then it would be like, let's talk more, basically. Let's get into it. And if they're like, no, this needs we need more, we need more than this or whatever, great, let's dissect. And that would then go to a second thing where we're scoping with an LLM or with a human. Right? Like, so so I think it's really good that you're basically doing like a predictive, hey, here's a couple ideas we have. Here's how we've solved this with other clients, or whatever. Here's a few quick ideas based off of what we heard, something like that. And then if it was like, if there's a way in here also in like the UX of it to be like, here's what here's a couple quick ideas. We want to leave the door open that we understand that this is a unique problem and we're willing to have a bigger conversation, but just off the top of our heads, here's a few things.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
And
like,
then,
what I'm thinking is like, once they see, so instead of just giving them these three like quick ideas, we can say like, okay, this is the general solution. You can choose which one fits you best, and we can iterate to make it more custom for your problem. Right?
yeah, and then or is there something else you want to talk about, right? Or did this miss? You need to have an option where it might have missed the mark, and we can have a bigger conversation. But it should show should alleviate to them like, wow, these people already kind of answer this stuff. I wonder what else they can do for me.
Okay.
You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah, that's definitely doable.
Hey, can you reset the demo real quick, Emily?
Yeah.
To the moment when they choose the solution, approximately.
So right here, and then like right here.
Yeah. So what I was thinking of, Jason, is maybe we gave them the high level solution, right? And then we could have another card say, I would like to add more or other stuff or other solution, and then once the customer click on any of those cards, it could start a conversation with the LLM, and then from there we can retrieve more requirements or specifications, so we can deep down to the actual problem, right? To the actual solution. And then once the customer answers some specific questions from the LLM, or I don't know, then we can render all that information on both sides. And then from there, it could pass to you or for the pricing, right?
You guys ever gone and bought something that you walked in knowing you needed to buy something, but you didn't know enough about it, and you had to have like a salesperson, even like a computer, anything, like you had to have someone guide you through everything? Have you guys done that before?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's kind of two ways. Like the 90% of salespeople and the ones that are bad about it, and this is, technology has caused this too, are the ones that just keep saying, tell me what you want, tell me what you want. The best companies and the best, most profitable teams, what they do is they take your information and they take you to the solution. That's what most people want when they don't know what the hell they know they have a problem. They don't know how to, they don't want to keep being asked, how do I solve it? They want to tell the problem and have a solution, like a partner that takes them to the end of it. And that's usually when you make more money. That's why, like, and anyways, this website should act as that, right? The website should be like the first part of it, like talking someone through, we know you're trying to implement AI as a business owner. It's a deep, vast ocean. We're here to help tell you what can be done in it, right? And then the combination of the website and platform is basically taking someone through a sales journey and getting them to something that will help this company and getting them to a point where they feel like they're having an interactive, someone is recommending solutions to them and then taking it all the way through closing it. And we're going to have humans in the loop of all that can also implement. But if the website and this platform can do 80% of the work, that's going to be pretty huge. And so that's the idea behind the two things. And that's why the website that's why the UX is so important in all of this. The feel of it. And it's almost like a sales, like a frontline sales rep, right? Or like it's almost like the personal shopper for what they're doing. But it's dissecting their problem and seeing where we can fit into it, if that makes sense.
Would it be like something like, okay, so choose which of these high level solutions fits
and
you
it would
best?
start. So I mean, we're kind of on the back end, but the first part is you need to get the info from the website of, hey, why, what brought you here type stuff, right? Like what are you doing? And AI is a deep, vast ocean, so that keeps a very wide net of what could bring them there. And they're gonna say, I'm just trying to implement AI at my company. Oh, great. What's your company do, right? And then it would ask, you'd have an LLM probably already does a lot of this, right? But it would have essentially diving down to a point where it says, okay, so tell us about some of the processes you're doing, that sort of thing. And it would then level on to what this is. Or there might be, hey, I'm here because I know I'm looking and evaluating AI consulting providers they might have a very specific thing, like my CRM is, messed. I'm looking for an AI provider to help. And then that would just jump right to the answer, right? So it would kind of have the two ways of doing it based off of how the conversation starts.
So like instead of this, like have an actual back and forth with an LLM or with a human in the loop, where once they give us enough information, they can ask to like, or that we can offer to draw a plan for them, and then it'll go to like everything else.
Yeah, and it should be, you're spot on. Like what you did is great. So then it should. The reason I keep bringing this up is this is like this isn't a standalone step. This is the step that comes after the like sales rep thing that we're doing on the website, right?
Okay.
And so this is where it leads to, and then it's great that it pops up of here's, 3 things that we think based off of what you said we could do pretty quickly, pretty easily. And it should say, I'm debating how we do, because I'm very concerned about quoting immediately costs of upkeep on their, that's what they need to know though. So it's very useful that it does show that, but I'm also a little concerned of it and switch people are also committing, but we'll have to figure out how we do that. But I love the idea of then it showing level 2 or 3 things that based off of what they said, and then there's like a 4th option that says, did this hit the mark? This didn't hit the mark, tell us something different, and it would start the loop over basically, right? But they choose one of those 3, and then based off of that, like you said, you can show cost, time, and then we would have to get into a more and then it would say, we would get into a more detailed conversation about it, right? And then that would really deliver what the costs would be, and a human would have to like say yes or no on that. And then this platform should take our general contract and statement of work, just implement it right into it. So like you can just do the whole approval of the project, everything right through here. They don't need to wait on us to send a proposal, any of that sort of stuff. The statement of work would just get accepted and it just goes right through this whole thing. And we'll work with our lawyers to make sure the contract works for all of that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That was the part, right? Once they choose a solution, once they tell us more about what they need, then we would render the e-sign portal, basically, right?
Exactly. And everything would just be done right here. Costs would be, but we really need to have, that's not on you guys. It's on us to make sure there's a human in the loop. That's making sure all the number. We just have to be careful about when we show numbers to people that they're real. But that's not your, just do the functions to get us there. And then I got to think through how it looks all together. And I may pull some of the money and time stuff off, but I think it's really cool. I think what you showed was really useful. From a business, risk, I'm a little bit concerned with showing that, but I love, this is a very cool thing for someone to see, and this is what they want to see. So I've got to think of how I get you here.
Just to interject real quick too, the prediction for like token costs and stuff, we could actually get really accurate at that as time goes on, because we have a tool that could track our token usage, and like tokens have a fixed cost, and so you could say, okay, to run this many tokens, we could give estimates per tokens, and then we could say like a range of tokens, like a low level customer flow to a high level. This could be the range, and that would be accurate because it's like a quantifiable measurement. It would be.
Yeah, the only problem is, again, I have to catch in the contract. The problem is all the providers of the tokens and everything are going to keep jacking up their prices.
Yeah.
So whatever the price is today is not what the price will be in a year.
Or maybe instead of showing the cost, we can show the estimated time of completeness.
That's the other thing. That's what you need both. They're going to want to know how long is it going to take to have this thing built and how much is it going to cost me. Yeah. And then there probably should be options for paying more to get it faster, assuming that we can actually deliver that. That's kind of the question. So, but there's always there's a whole thing of, do you want it cheap and, if you want it, there's cheap, fast. If you want it fast, you're going to pay more. If you want it cheap, you're going to get it longer, and there's all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we have to. There's a lot of back end, but what I care about this second is the functionality, and I think the first run, this is pretty darn good. It's like what we're trying to do with it, and then there were just need to put an LLM into it to do. Our LLM can function as a salesperson for us, I think, pretty well. But we just got to be very careful of that. Again, it doesn't frustrate people. It needs to not feel like it's a chatbot that people are just like agent, right?
Yeah.
Get past it. We don't want to do that. But if it can, and then, there should always be an option then to just schedule a meeting to talk. The whole idea is to get them to a point where they're like, okay, well, this is within my budget. This is within my time constraint. I would love to talk to y'all, and let's try to make this thing happen.
Okay. Yeah.
And they can see, and then we'll have to find a way then we'll have to really get into a detailed conversation. And maybe there's one other thing missing here between this is, okay, so this is it. There should probably be a page that shows like
a roadmap.
Yes, you're spot on, right? And the timeline of the roadmap, so that they see, okay, once we choose this, and then that's your pizza delivery thing you're showing, right? But it shows, okay, we've got 8 weeks. What are we doing in this 8? What's it going to look like? We're gonna want to walk them through signing a contract, having a meeting with the with the team, follow-up meet, that sort of stuff. If we can show all of that, that's really cool. Because the biggest thing, like Ritu and I are going through, we're working with a lawyer on a lot of setup for this company. I don't know what the hell they're doing. And they are doing work, but I have to message him every 2 days and be like, hey, what'd you do yesterday? If I had insight to this is where this is where if my pizza's in the oven right now, that would have helped, and I wouldn't have had to do that message and all that sort of stuff, right?
But you mean that once everything is set up, right? The pricing.
I think, but I think it would be cool to show
before.
I think it'd be cool to show an estimated timeline to them.
Okay.
That most of what you're trying to do is, and that could, I would imagine an LLM and an agent could just figure that out based off the statement of work, right? That keeps that as long as we have a process that keeps us all in line. And if a client saw that, they'd be like, holy crap, I want to work with these people because the whole thing that we're selling here is that they're involved in the process.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, and that they're very that we are very open to what that they're not just going to sign up and pay us and then we just go into a dark room and tell them when everything's done. And so them seeing something like that just automates off the back end of it would be real. I think it's just a logical thing, and it seems like it'd be pretty easy to add with what you're doing here.
Yeah, because for example, for me, when I go around and like do stuff, anything like similar to that, I like to see, for example, like savings. That's why I included
Yep.
the predicted savings, so they can see like, okay, with this, like if it's costing me, I don't know, $1,500 every time I miss, in this case, every time I miss a call, and then I can, if I can make it so I can include an AI and I can save those 1,500, this would be like shown to them that, okay, you'll save around this much per month based on what you told us if
Yeah.
you use
It's
this
just
plan.
hard because we don't have enough information probably
Yeah.
to give them a real thing. So I'm with you. I like it. I also don't know if there's any like legal stuff I have to talk, but yeah, I love it. But what's a projected saving? Like there's another whole thing. What if they fire someone because this job does? I mean, then they saved a ton of, and that's not really what we're trying to do here, but that's a whole other, there's a lot more to it than just, you're talking about opportunity cost of a missed call here and the projected revenue against
Exactly.
it. I just don't even know if that's the right, but this is all what it's doing is right. We have to figure out what how you get to these numbers is probably not the thing we need to solve right now.
Yeah.
I think it's just solving the look of it, and then I can help. Then we can, in a few weeks, get into what we want to actually
So
this stuff on it.
What do you think, Gary? How should we retrieve all those specs and features from the customer? Because we don't.
What I would do if I was looking at this from scratch, and what I'd recommend to you guys, and maybe do on my own, is I would actually go just look at like sales, like websites and blogs. People were like, oh, this is my methodology that works the best. Just so as a developer, I can understand like the process, and I'd look at like 2 or 3 different ones, and then I would kind of just like take that process to like how to identify a problem like in sales, and I'd take those steps and I would say, okay, how can I like have the agent follow this? Come up with a standalone prompt like a given agent to take on that role and follow that process, and then let the person talk to it. And then so then they could just, rather than have a form or something they fill out, it would ask questions and have that as a playbook. And basically, it would just ask questions to get that stuff filled in, and then we'd store all that as a structured data set, that we'd store. That's how I would do it. But I would start with the research just to understand the process. Spend like an hour or two maybe just looking online and getting blogs, and then copying and pasting that into a conversation with my agent back and forth so I could synthesize the information, and then get down to like a distilled thing that fits our use case,
Yeah.
Also,
I think,
sorry.
I was gonna say, I think based off of what we talked about, you guys gave me enough now. I think I can put 90% of the process together for you if you want, Gary, and just send it to you. Like if I can spend tonight, early tomorrow with ChatGPT or whatever, I can put, and then you guys can add a little bit more to it, but I can send that. Well, what you just said, Gary, is completely right. But let me, if that helps, now that I can see what you can do, I can try to, and then you can add some stuff to it. There's probably more features, but I think I can put it in very simple. Like it's just going to say step 1, but I can show you that kind of journey, and because
what's
cool, I think that might help.
The stepping back like this as 2 things we're solving, like as process, then look and feel. We lock the process in. We could walk through it like this so we could all understand and visualize it. But then rather than having like say, okay, Fatima, it rests on you to go make this UI look good. Once the process is laid out and we have like the back end working, we could all like really like iterate and create like 3 or 4 different looks, and like just demo them. Hopefully it doesn't take this long to demo one thing, but we could just go and show the look and feel, click through the process, and you're like, ooh, I like this one best, or I like these 2 things. I want to take this element from this one, and in our wireframe we could change that and then change the whole project, and we could do that really fast, But making sure we have the process down first, then like coming in, and the look and feel is a layer on top of that, if that makes sense. But because you could just really get through it fast that way. Right, because like if the process, that's just what I'm thinking. The reason I'm saying that is because if the process here, if like someone was working on UI UX said, okay, these are our features, and we're gonna work on this and build this a lookout for this with the flows, and these buttons work this way. But then we come in and we insert a new step in between, and then they're like, oh, now I got to redesign for this UX for this new step. I'd rather just get everyone focused on process first and make sure we have it all good, and then come back and get the look and feel dialed in. But maybe you don't. No one's.
Yeah, it's just from my understanding, we only have three ways. It's either an AI asking questions to the client to retrieve those specs, or a form, and or a salesperson, right? But the salesperson is out. But since you don't want a chat box, I'm having difficulty like of thinking
No,
how
I think we would have a chat box.
we need a chat box, right?
Yeah, so when you have put in the API key, that's so they could chat with it, correct, on that page?
Yeah, so that's what I was going to. If we want to implement a chat box, Gary, I would like to see if there's a possibility of even getting like a $15 Cloud API, because I've been using my CLI for testing this, and it's eating through my token. So while testing, I cannot change because I go through my 5 hour
Yeah,
limit because of.
Jason and Enrique too. I'm going to bump the people are hitting their limits. I'm going to bump them up to premium. I've been holding off until it's become a blocker, and it's a blocker now. So they'll go from the $20 to the $100 a month premium seats. So that way they could use that, because they'll just be able to use their subscription to be able to run these workflows and not worry about it eating up all their usage limit when they're trying to develop. But it just simplifies, or else we have to get the card, set up a separate account for API keys, and give them those, and then it's charged separately on that. It's easier just to bump the premium up from standard to premium seats. Yeah, that was the initial plan anyway.
Chat box. Chat box should not be like a little chat box that bumps up on the corner. It should be more of like what you see from ChatGPT. And I mean, I don't even like that, but the chat it should feel like
right there where it says chat with your engineer. Can we have it be like a scrolling thing inside that div?
So again, I think it starts at the website. So I know that's where this is getting tough. I mean, you can do it there. That's great. The chat with your engineer. That's great. On the website, it should be like. It should be like almost like, hey, you're welcome here. We're here to guide you type thing. And it should have, basically asking it to talk to it, as opposed to like chatbot that says like, hey, we're available from these times or whatever. It should be
right. Where it's really just a decision.
Kind of the starting page of the website. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was thinking like of a chat box. Well, on this case, after they choose an overview of the solution, and they choose that, we can show like an interactive journey with the agent to ask the necessary questions to retrieve the information we need.
I think that would be before the plan. So
Before?
what
Yes,
I'm getting
exactly.
from Jason would be like, so they go into our website, and then we have an interactive roadmap that they can start sharing like their problem with us, and then we're building through it with them. So once they have once we have enough information from them, we can generate now the three different solutions with what the LLM got from the interactive roadmap. Did I get that right? Is it something like that?
So this is that's the whole thing. Like Waifinder, we're like finding their way. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of how we got it. It's not actually what we meant to do at first, but that's the cool thing about all this. So yeah, so it's like that you're spot on, right? So that they're coming in, and we're going to really dive into that from like a marketing standpoint, that they're coming in and trying to figure out we want it to be open, to seem like an open, comfortable place for business owners that are trying to implement AI into their company, basically, and have a consultative conversation through this website. And again, we're going to have to use, I'm saying all this, I don't know how much it's going to cost. So that's why, but like, it would either use predictive or use an LLM that would do it. And based off of that, I think then you're at the second part of, once you get that information, and we start going through this, and I think what you showed is great. And then this should take it all the way to a point where they can sign a contract, and then that contract sets up how the work is then done for all of us as we're delivering it. It shows again a roadmap that whole time, and we're all just working on it together. And that's what we're selling here, is that in this from the second they get to the website to this thing getting delivered, transparency and full partnership.
Yeah, so basically this is step 2 out of 3, right? So step 1 would
I
be
think so.
the
I'm pretty confident that that's right, and it all starts. But the first part of the website is super complicated, right? To get to this, but this is I love. I mean, I love what we're showing here once it's here.
It's
I
that
think you're
funnel.
definitely
It's that
on. I mean,
funnel
it's
into
not
here.
fully
Yeah.
right, but you're on the right path for sure.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah, if you want, Brian, we can hop on in a call later or tomorrow and we can like just debrief everything so we can have a good game plan on going on to what we'll demo next week.
I could work with
Sure.
you guys too on that.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
see the website itself from Fatima so I can rearrange
Yeah,
thoughts.
that's
Once I get these projects set up by the end of the day, that will be a lot easier to do as a team too. What I was talking about earlier, that will put all this together.
and like I would imagine this is so like there would need to be a way for them to like re-pull up their project. So this needs to be gate like once they do it, they have to create an account or something, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we already have that for version control. And I think
We want because we
on
want to get them. We want to let them get kind of far without creating an account because that stops people from getting far. So that's something we're gonna have to think about too. And then some of this will have to be. And then if they want to continue the program they did or whatever, there's gonna have to be an account created, and that's the portal, right? That would all then go into the portal side. It would leave. I mean, it's probably still all hosted on our website, but that's going to be the important part of all that. And then now we're getting into data privacy and all kinds of crazy stuff that I'll have to.
Yeah, we want them to be able to plan and talk to the agent, and then be like, "Do you want to save this plan for later?" If they need to come back to it, and any point they want to save to come back to later, that's when they'd have to create an account, right? That's generally how that stuff works. That works that way. Is like you let you do a bunch of stuff, but once you want to save or have any kind of persistence, that's you create the account to attach it to that person.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll put my kind of dream process. I'm not going to talk about like there's another conversation later about like training the on like the questions and stuff, and I think I can really take ownership of that. Just high level what I wanted to do and the stuff so that you guys can keep working on that.
Yeah, but
that together
okay.
And get it to you by tomorrow.
Excuse me.
Gary.
Sorry.
Yeah, that works.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So that's basically it from us. I'll go ahead and just talk with Brian and Gary, but that's what we have right now.
All right, I know it's almost 2:00, but can
good.
we run over a little bit later so we can get the rest of the demo stuff done? That's a big chunk of it. We have a Fatima.
If you can you Ritu, you said you wanted to meet at 2. I have I can't 2:30.
Oh yeah.
2:30 to 3. I'm not available, so I can get back at 3 or 15 or something. I've got now until 2:30, and then I've got
Ritu, are you there?
2:30.
So it's half an hour. I think we should be good.
Yeah, Ritu's stuff like she stepped
She
away or
wanted to
something.
meet at 2, I think she said.
Yeah, she did, but let's just wait for her to get back and see what she says. But we'll just continue on like until she gets back. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
And then we'll meet when if she isn't back, we'll just ask her to meet after you get back, Jason. Okay, is that cool? Just okay. So then, yeah, Fatima, the website, branded marketing. I got the slides here. Hold on. So the brand and marketing for the website, like I did create that design system, but Fatima had a couple PDFs she created where it had like looks and with different colors and so her direction she's going. So I'd like her to be able to share that, and yeah, just to get some feedback on it. Fatima, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I can share my screen
Okay, cool.
if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was talking with Gary, and I came up with 2 different color palettes. So this one, I came up with it after looking at Lindy AI and Maven. So it's got like the more like cold tones, and this is the main page. So I do have the logo here. But I ran out of tokens because I wanted to make another modification. But like what I was thinking, so so we can scroll down and everything. And then over here we have the 6 steps, and we can highlight. And then if we click on them, it will take us to like what they are. But let me go here first. So this is just how it works in very like simple terms. And then here we can access like the roadmaps. And then here's just like a contact page. And then if I go here, this is all mock data. I used it for the demo. So for example, here at the bottom, I have use cases. So obviously it's all mock data, but it's just like an example of like what we could put in then. So you can read like stories like from users.
I think this is too technical looking. This is like this seems too like what's the right word? Doesn't feel welcoming. You guys agree? Or
It's too formal.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you scroll down to the discovery, because I have some info I wanted to give real quick, if that's okay. I wanted to like on here, like how it's just the bullets, and the squares. It'd be cool, like with Cloud Design, you
Yeah.
could do animations and like I'm gonna almost make this like a rotating like animation where they scroll over and it shows one, and then 2 pops up on top of it, and they could click and it shows the next one. But they're like, just making it more fun like that way, and you don't have to know how to code that stuff. I know there's tools in the Cloud Design thing to kind of declawed this stuff, and not make it look like that, to make it more engaging and shiny, Like even on our Squarespace site, they have like the background images that kind of are animated and stuff like that, where it's like the pillars on the bottom that's kind of like walking down the pillars. It kind of gives it a vibe and feel. I don't know if that's exactly what we want to do, but just as an example. But something like that. And I was going to explore the cloud design more too for that aspect of it for our components, because you could actually make animated components and put them in our design system, and then just say we want to use it for this, showing this, and that will kind of give us our own flavor and brand. But I think that's going to take a little more iteration to get it dialed in. But one of the tools you use in JSON is called this tool where you could choose palettes and color palettes and stuff. So and then in that design system, we can just plug that color palette in that we want, and so it'll basically be applied across the site.
Yeah.
So really, it's like
I think go lighter than this.
Mm.
because this is kind of like this is actually where I think it's kind of fun as like the owner. If you don't want to use, that's fine. But if you went to like this website, Coolers, you could like look at trending palettes, for
Okay.
instance, and be like, "Oh, I love this one," and then go to a separate tool and say, "What would this look like?" And it'll visualize it on like a page, like just a random page.
Okay.
So and then
Yeah.
you could just link these and share them with her, and she'd have the palette that you like, and that would rather than
Go
her.
to this. Just link me the site, and then just
Yeah, I'll
try
link it to you
figure
right
out.
now. I'll throw it.
Need a login or anything, or you just play around with
No,
it?
if you want to save your palettes, you'd have to create an account, but you don't need one otherwise. Hold on, I have a. But I think this will, Fatima. I think when we get this design system and like the project setup, this will make your job less abstract too of doing this stuff. That's why I really want to do it, is because it makes it less abstract.
Yeah.
Okay, Ritu wants to meet in the morning. Did you see that?
The
Jason?
big thing is like that first when they come on, it should feel very welcoming to them, and like the overall thing
Yeah.
is, this is so it's kind of interesting. We have like two sides of this. There's going to be evaluating agencies. I want you to be the right agency, and we can play in that space. I think it's going to be hard for us to find a lot of clients there right away, but we can play in that space. I think that's great. Our big niche is we're a welcoming space to people that are trying to figure it out in AI. And that starts with the story of this is a deep ocean that we want to, maybe that's too meta, but it's too, that this is a landscape. Let us guide you. And that should be the overall. And it starts with a conversation. Let's have let's start our conversation now, right? And it should be very easy for them to just even that should just be, I can start typing and get information, right? That's the beauty of why ChatGPT gets used so much, because you just literally just go to that site and start typing. And it should give some information on the front end that allows them to start doing something like that. That's why I keep going back to some kind of animation or something that guides them to doing it, but I don't know what that looks like. I'm sure Ritu has some ideas already, so so that's cool.
Yeah,
it isn't terrible or anything. I just think that's
it's a first pass.
Don't want it to. The big thing here is it's a this is a very intimidating space. We're a space that's non-intimidating. That's the most important. That's our niche, I believe. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I think that's I think that's how we're gonna win.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make some note of that. So
That's the thing. If any of y'all stay, whoever stays with whatever, as we're doing services later and we're actually delivering this, and if you're actually talking to clients, if I never say this, I'll continue to say that, but that's going to be the mantra of this company, right? So we all need to live and breathe that we're we're here to support and guide and help through all these things, right? And we're very empathetic and that sort of, as we're having these conversations, that's what we're going to try to build as an organization. And that's, once you start hearing me talks and everything on this publicly, that's what I'm going to keep talking about publicly. That's going to hopefully get people to want to interact with us.
So Jason, let me show you this real quick, just this site so you could use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So if you just got the second link I give you, actually, you don't have to, you can look at the palettes if you want to, but you have to sign in, but you could just go directly to the second image, and you could go down here and click browse, for instance, and then this is, because I have saved an account, I have a saved palette here, but you could look at all palettes, and you could be like, oh, I want warm, oh, I do, you have to create an account, okay. Yeah, so you could go over the tools, but then basically when you have your palettes, you could come over here, and you could shuffle the colors here, but you see how it shows it applied? And then you could generate new colors, but just say you want these colors, you like these colors, but you want to shuffle them around. So you click this, and you can say, I like this look. And then you could just basically screenshot this and share it with us, And there's a way to save these palettes too.
Yeah,
export
I want to get some Ritu's feedback on some of it too, and Jessica's. So
yeah, but this is a good way to pick, because this is just branding stuff, right? So it's really subjective. So, yeah. But if you want warm,
all you need to know from me is colors.
Yeah, colors essentially. Yep. And you got typography and so you can see that you could check on these different things here to see what it looks like in different ways, and you can find the one that kind of fits well across. But yeah. Then
Gary, I'd like to share my screen also after you are done, just for a couple of minutes, just to see if what I'm working on is useful or not.
Yeah, is that to me, Ritu? Was that directed to me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You want to take it? You want to do that now, Ritu?
Yeah, just for a couple of minutes. I'm not sure if this is useful.
Yeah, and this right here, this slide here, because Juan and Enrique both aren't here, but Juan was kind of working on the customer journey map. I just have a screenshot of it here on the slides, but this is directly related to UI UX design shit. So I want to get into a cloud design and get a template going, so then they can work collaboratively on this stuff. Like, here's the information I want to display, and then they could go back and forth to get a design like iterated on and looking good. And then here's what Enrique was working on. And then
Are you sharing your screen?
yes,
How come?
yes, you guys can see it.
I'm
Right?
also
You have to
sharing
switch people Ritu and Discord. It doesn't pop up like Teams.
Okay.
You have to click on their stream. Yeah, it's a little bit weird.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because multiple people can stream at the same
Now
time.
you're doing one, right, Ritu?
Yeah, so you can
I'm doing one.
You found it, Ritu? Okay, you're sharing your screen? Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
I see it.
But all that, I'm only sharing my my screen. That's my whole desktop. No.
Yeah, so you could click on the stream button in the bottom left again, and you could change what you're sharing.
Sorry, I didn't see I don't see the stream button on the left.
On the bottom left in that card right there, they got the little right there. Yep.
This?
I thought you were hovering over it there. Yep, that. And then click it again.
I just clicked on my screen. No.
The little screen icon where it says video connected, the second icon.
Okay. Oh, this one. Share your screen. Okay.
Yeah.
But
then change stream.
Change stream.
And then you could choose an app or a window or entire screen. See across the there you go. That'll work.
You see it?
Yep.
Okay. So Jason, what I did here was remember you sent a whole these notes about the vision that you had in text. I don't know why I'm not able to
looking. I see it. The imagine, recognize, imagine, explore.
Yeah, but I can't click on these now if I on Discord. God. Can I not? Anyway, I'll start again. But basically, Jason, I said I took all your notes and I sort of fed it to Claude, and this is kind of I wanted to give the interns a feel for like the different end-to-end sort of client journey, right? So recognize is like, is this for me? And then I worked through Claude to see like what does that.
I think we're not seeing your screen.
Are you not seeing my screen?
No, you canceled the stream. Yeah.
What do I do now? Okay, so let me just share your screen again.
Yep.
Go back to this and share. But these tabs should be clicking. Why they're not clicking? But so this is this for me? And then you had in it. No, I have to show you the when I click. Give me a minute. I'll come back. You guys do whatever you need to do. I'm going to see why it's not clicking. Okay.
Yeah, I like this recognize, imagine, explore language though. I kind of get it already just from seeing that flow. So it's
that's what I'm saying, that if it's like we want to, like Jason will keep saying, we want to be the unintimidating. We want to really think through the feeling the person gets when they recognize, is this for me? And then I went through a lot of layers of explaining to the developers, what is this for me translate to in terms of what they see on the screen. And so imagine what the current state is and what the new state could be. And explore is, okay, I'll tell you about my problem. Let's see what you can give it to me. This is a diagnostic tool. And trust is, who are these people who are, building this, something about Jason and me and the apprenticeship model. And then converse is, okay, now like I book a call and I want to actually talk to you about the, pricing or whatever it may be, and then collaborate. This is when they actually, after this step, they are saying, yes, I want to work with you, collaborate. And then arrive is when you actually deploy those things on their in their environment, and evolve is, okay, how does the solution evolve over time to get more intelligent, better, and things like that, right? So I think is this useful for me to keep working on sort of to make sure that we are in the website
Yeah, I
that, and
think
I
you're
didn't
doing
want
a
to.
yeah. Sorry. I think this is very valuable because it kind of gives the ambiance and the tone you want, and that's really
Yeah,
important
yeah,
coming from you guys as like the stakeholders, because we could code
yeah,
something up and it
yeah,
might look dry, might look boxy, but if you could really convey like those words right
yeah,
there trigger it within me like,
yeah,
oh, okay, that's a better understanding of where I should be going. Does it do the same
yeah,
for you guys, like
yeah,
Fatima, you guys like Brian and Amelia, the guys that have been working on stuff? Like if you see that, I'm like, oh, I kind of I can get how it vibes with me, the environment and the emotional responses. Because recognize, I really see like I see it as, and it's probably not 100% as um, like I see recognize as um,
recognize
discovering this.
me.
Yeah, will recognize us, but like also like. I was thinking, as far as our workflow goes, like it currently is like identifying the problem, but that's probably not it yet. But because like recognize and then imagines like the different possibilities, and then like explores like looking at the different options, but it kind of fits ours but keeps the tone the same as this. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have to look at this more carefully and
So
look at each box, but I was thinking that's just like
yeah,
following this through as our steps and our process.
but yeah. Yeah, because I didn't want to be prescriptive we can talk a bunch about what recognize means, but I wanted to give just enough without giving the UX, because that's the part where I think different people have different ways of representing the UX, the actual screen stuff. But if we can all agree on like this is the flow, then we can look at different options that we will come up with. If you don't have agreement on this, like you were saying, then we're just kind of throwing darts in the wall,
Yeah,
right?
process first.
Yeah, can I jump in for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do like it. So there's a couple things here. So I love us having an agreement on like our unique process and flow and like putting a name to it. Okay, so I love that of it. And I like the idea of recognize and man, like that sort of stuff's cool. The idea of where this now, I wouldn't want recognized be the first thing they see.
No,
Right?
of course not.
Well, I think it needs to be said where this sits is what I'm getting at. So, just so there's no confusion, right? And maybe so this is like this is like our process, right? But when they first come, website and everything will be explaining our unique process and how they come through it, and then we label it, right? So is they're not going to come to the website and it starts saying like go start with recognize, right? Like, so I just want to make sure everyone we haven't earned that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No,
Thanks for stating it. Yeah.
I don't think this is clear. I think I'm not doing myself a disservice by not showing you anything. This recognize was not meant to be what this is basically saying, like, are you having this problem, like that thing? Recognize meaning that can the client recognize themselves in the way we are saying what pain point we're trying to solve, right? So that is that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Following you.
yeah, so you're gonna say that, like, I think I have here.
It's like a self-reflective. Am I a good fit? Are we a
Yeah,
good
like
fit?
for example, if I come to the website and I see, do you feel like grant reporting is a nightmare? Every 2 weeks you have to run around. Every month you have to, go to 7 different places in your environment and produce that report. We can produce that report to you at a press of a button. That's what I mean. Like that is recognize me, that I recognize myself and my problem in the way they are describing what they solve.
Gotcha.
It's a great idea. I don't
Yeah.
think from a marketing standpoint, it's a great idea. So everything you're saying is exactly right, Ritu. I'm just not sure. We have to
That's
set
how
the
it was
rules in
always,
place
though.
in their mind for them to understand what it means. So that's all I'm getting to.
No,
Like,
but then as you go, imagine gets you there, explore gets you even further, and so these are the next, and this will all be the same page. So it's not like they'll be in different tabs or anything. This is more of the meta layer, where when I go to a website, no one can argue this, that when you go to a website for the very first time, your first thought is this for me?
Correct. And that's kind of the other, 100.
And I mean, no one can argue this. That's why I was a little concerned that there was an argument, which means that you're not really, I'm not able to explain what. So I think with that.
Yeah, you're just thinking this very so I'm thinking it from a user experience standpoint, and you're thinking from a technical standpoint. That's all it is. From a from a user experience, this would be a nightmare for me. What'd you say?
No, I'm thinking I'm from I'm kind of feeling perspective, like with no regards to what's on the screen. Like when I first come to a website, I'm just thinking in my mind. This is what's going on in my mind. Is this for me?
100%. That's kind of what I was saying. That's the whole that's spot on. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's almost 2:20. So why don't you guys wrap up? I'll try to figure out and then tomorrow. I wanted to meet Jason with you and Gary to kind of walk through this so that I don't confuse the developers by having things which don't make sense. So and I still want to do that, and we can do that tomorrow morning.
We do it tonight.
Yeah, we can do. But I'm busy till 4:00. I can only do 5. I can only do at 5.
After 5, my baby gets home at 5.
What time zone are you on?
I'm in the West Coast, Seattle.
5, so 7. You can do it at 7 my time. Okay.
Yeah, I can do 7.
So you're busy until 7.
Yeah,
until 5.
Sure.
Until 5.
Yeah, until 5. Yeah, 5.
Okay. You're free at 5? Then are you Gary? What's your schedule look like?
I try to get up at 5 because my wife gets home with the kid and she wants to eat dinner after work after picking up a kid from grandma's. So
get it.
Yeah,
understand. Yeah. Okay. What time can you guys meet tomorrow?
Any time. 9 a.m. Is that good?
That's fine. Ritu, why don't we meet tonight? Is that cool?
No. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, tonight you and I should meet at 7. Yeah, and tomorrow I can't do 9. I have something going on till noon.
What time's good for you tomorrow?
I couldn't have said tomorrow.
I could come tonight at 5. I just don't want to make it a normal thing. I could be there at 5. I just don't want to make it a norm.
It's good.